In this video, I'm going to show you how to simplify a radical, specifically a fraction that includes a radical, how it would look at the end of the quadratic formula, for example. So let's say, for example, we go through and use a quadratic formula and we end up with 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 12, all divided by 4. The first thing you want to do on this one is take this negative that's underneath the radical and bring it out and write it as a complex number. So it just comes out as an I, all over 4. And then you want to check and see if you can break down what's left over underneath the radical. So in this case we have a 12. So I'm going to split it up into 4 and 3. And then 4 breaks down into 2 and 2, and that's as far as you can go with that. When you break it down, you're looking for pairs of numbers to be able to bring out. So in this case we have a pair of 2's. So I'm going to circle 1, 2, cross the other one out. And then this 3, which is at the end of a branch, is left by itself, so that 3 is going to have to stay underneath the radical. We don't do anything with the 4 because we used the 4, we broke it up into 2 and 2, so it's already a used number. Alright, so when we rewrite this, it's going to be 2 plus or minus. Now when you bring out that 2, the one that we have circled, it's going to go with the I right in front of the radical. And then that 3 that was left over that didn't have a pair is going to stay underneath the radical. And they're all divided by 4. Okay, so then from here, what you want to check is, can you simplify it? Now, you can't simplify it back at this stage. Some people a lot of times like to simplify the 2 over 4, right? But really, you technically have 3 terms here. The 2, the square root of negative 12, and the 4. And unless you can simplify from all 3 of them, you can't just simplify or reduce 2. So in this case, yeah, the 2 and the 4 can reduce, but there's nothing in front of that radical with the negative 12, so if you can't take it from all of them, you can't take it from any of them. And this is where the breaking it down comes into play. Now that we've broken up that radical, now we have 3 terms, the 2, the 2i, square root of 3, and then the 4. Now all 3 of these terms have a 2 in common. Now we're not looking at the number underneath the radical. That we can't touch. We already did what we could do to that back in this step over here. But now if we look, we have this 2, and that 4, all of which can be divided by 2. So technically what ends up happening is you can kind of think of it as if you factored out a 2 in the numerator, what it would look like. You'd pull out a 2, be left with 1 plus or minus 1i, or I'm just going to write an I, square root of 3, all divided by 4. And then if we look at what has been factored out, 2 and that 4 is by itself on the bottom. Now from here we can reduce. This turns into a 1, this turns into a 2, so our final answer is 1 plus or minus I, square root of 3, all over 2. Okay. Hopefully that helps. If you need another example, just let me know and I will make you another video.
Made with Doodlecast Pro.